This is the Reinforce Your Gym podcast with your host, Dustin Vogel. This show is about arming gym owners with the tools, strategies, and lessons they need to take their business to the next level. That way, they can make a greater impact in their community. Now, let's get to work and reinforce your gym.
All right, welcome gym owners to this week's episode of the Reinforce Your Gym podcast. Got a good one for you this week, and this is all about how to solve every single problem in your business. And the good news is it comes from one source. All right, so let's dive into it because I'm excited to go through this content with you guys. All right, now, what is this one source that's going to solve every problem in your business? Well, guess what? It's your customer, your clients. All right, I'm going to use those words interchangeably today. But at the end of the day, we call them one or the other, right? And so here's the truth. Your clients are your ultimate sounding board. All the information you've ever wanted to grow your business, to fix it, to just figure out ways to upsell more solutions to people, it is in their heads, all right? And you want to just talk to them and extract it from them. So I'm going to go over a few things, all right? Like what to say, when to say it, how to filter through it, because sometimes there can be a little bit hidden. And so I want to carve it out for you just step by step. All right. So again, ask yourself, why are we so ready to just spend tens of thousands of dollars on business coaching and get consultants and give people just money so quickly to give us the answers to grow our business when there's honestly this free option that just takes a little bit of time that has everything you need, right? And this is how most businesses get their most valuable information and ideas is from getting client feedback. But we tend to not do this very often in the fitness industry, which is kind of weird. We need to do a better job, right? And so here's what I want to unlock for you, right? This is the insider knowledge you will get from your customers when you just take some time and ask them a few simple questions, what I'm going to arm you with today, all right? So first, we get insider knowledge on their buying journey, meaning their onboarding, their first day, first week experience, their first 90 days, all the way up to them upgrading their service. We get that insider knowledge. What was it like? Was it frustrating? Did they get stuck? Did they not understand something, right? We kind of want to stop and do a little bit of a feedback loop, right? What about pain points you didn't even know existed, that you were so focused on just the programming or helping them in nutrition? Maybe there's other things that we can uncover, right? Maybe they were like, man, I wish you really had some childcare, or I wish you had a meal prep company you can refer me to, or I have this problem in my life. Do you recommend a supplement? But we don't know these pain points because some people won't come and bring them to us. And if we never have an opportunity to ask them, well, it's just going to have this suffering in silence type of situation, right? So we need to allow these pressure release valves through surveys and through interactions so that we can solve our clients' pain points, which also means we can grow our revenue, right? We can sell more solutions. We can also get feedback on the actual features they use versus what we think they use, right? Some of us got this big, beautiful, expensive machine called an InBody, and we're like, yeah, we got it, and our clients love it. But I would ask, what's the percentage of clients that are actually using it, right? It's this feature that we have, but is anybody using this thing? Did I waste my time buying this piece of equipment? And so that's what we want to get, right? Maybe you have an app and you think all your clients are using it, but then you find out no one is, right? This can go from session times. This can come from equipment. There's a lot of things that we add and we just think packing more in is better. But sometimes you need to prune the tree. You need to cut things that no one's using. Number one, it's going to save you mind space and headaches. But number two, we can get to what is actually valuable to the customer. And then the final thing that you're really going to get from this insider knowledge is the language that they use to describe their problems, which is gold, complete gold that you can put on your marketing, right? So pay attention. There's so many times a client has said something, I'm like, that is an email subject line. That is the headline at the top of my Facebook ad. That's my next, text campaign, whatever, because it was just so powerful. And the way they said it, I was like, oh, that's money. Thank you. Right. And I've collected dozens of those through the years. So remember, these are all the things you're going to get. This is a very positive thing. I know we can go into it thinking, this is going to be a complaint fest. My clients are going to rant on me. They're going to rip me a new one. But inside of this, if you position it correctly and you ask the right questions, you can find absolute gold that it's worth a few people ranting, right? And again, remember, it's about the frame. And if you frame things and you position them correctly, you should minimize how many of those rants happen, right? So I'm going to give you the 3 questions and then I'm going to give you some more beyond that, all right? First, critical question. What are we doing well, right? This is powerful because it frames it on positivity and wins and what's going good in the business. So I would sit down with my client and say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Client, I just got a few questions. If I could just take a few minutes of your time, can you tell me what are we doing well? What do you really love about our fitness experience, about our coaching program, right? Give me 2 or 3. I don't want them to just stop at 1. I want this to be a big, big list, right? So that we can hear that and get reinforcement. And then you can pass that to your team. Hey guys, let's keep doing this. I've heard so many people say it. Sometimes clients have positive things to say, but we just never stop and ask them. And if they're like rush in, do their workout, rush out, we never extract that knowledge from them. All right. Now we get to the improvement opportunity. So now you can say, thank you. I'm so glad that you're happy with that. But now where can we improve things? And one way you can position it is what frustrates you. Like, is it the app? Is it you can't get into some session times? Again, I don't want to preload them with too many answers. I want to leave it open-ended on purpose, but I'm just trying to give you examples of things that they might come at you with. Or like, hey, I wish you guys helped more with nutrition. I don't feel like there's a lot of options there. Or I wish somebody would explain to me my InBody. I don't know what this thing means. And so you can take these notes, and obviously what you're looking for is some of the most popular answers, right? Patterns. But you're like, hey, where can we improve? What could we do better? The third and final question, and again, I'm giving you guys a very basic one because I want this to be so easy for you to go and take action on, is how likely are you to refer a friend to come and train here at XYZ Fitness? This is what's called your NPS score. And so people will purchase things, but like a huge indicator is how willing they are to put their status and their relational capital on the line. That's a huge indicator of how much they love it, right? We all kind of buy things and sometimes it's an average experience. You're like, I'm not going to put my reputation on the line and tell my friends and family to come here. It's good enough for me, but I'm not thrilled that I'm going to say, I got to get everyone I know to come over here and check this place out. So that's your kind of sneaky indicator. And the NPS score is a 1 to 10. So you 8, 9s, and 10s, they are highly likely to refer a friend. 6, 7s, they're not really looking. It's a might. I might refer my friend. And 5 and below is like, there's no way I'm going to refer my friend. So you could say it in the form of a 1 to 10, right? And that way you can get that score and you can see how many people rate higher, right? And that's your NPS score. What you're looking for is your average. You're taking all your scores and you're dividing it by how many people answered it. And that's your actual NPS score, right? And so you want 9s and 10s. Even most businesses will look at 7, 8, and 6 as like not good, and 5 and below is really bad, right? So you want 9s and 10s. You want very, very high ratings. So these are the 3 questions. You could put them on a survey. You can sit with your clients one-on-one and ask them. There's many ways to do this. You can ask them to film it on video, but these are your 3 critical questions and they give you everything you need to know. All right. Now, let's kind of go a little bit deeper. What are some things we're looking for, right? Beyond the net promoter score, we always want to ask on these questions, why, right? I love this, this, and this. Great. Why? Why is it so valuable to you? And now you get to hear the real answer. Well, this thing saves me time. This thing saves me money. This thing saves me thinking and not having to do all the decision making. And that's where the real gold is going to come out for your marketing and for you to just feel really convicted. But then when they say the improvement, like I really would like to see this improve. Great. Why? What would it do for you? And again, we're not trying to be condescending. You just want them to go a little bit deeper rather than saying something at surface. Because we know we're going to hear a lot of that stuff. Like, hey, I really wish you had a nude session. And if we just left it at that, we're kind of going to guess why they said that. So it's like, cool, why would a noon session serve you, right? Why would more nutrition coaching serve you? Can you tell me what kind of nutrition coaching you're looking for? How many touch points would you want? This is where you get to dig in and literally get to custom build what the customer is asking for by going into the why, right? So like, I don't want you to just ask these questions and accept the first thing you hear. Dig in, ask for those details. That's where the gold is, right? And of course, this comes from you creating a safe space of honest feedback that like they obviously don't feel like they're going to get a rebuttal. Like I'd say that's the biggest thing. Never rebuttal when you're collecting feedback. Don't get defensive. Don't take it personal. just shut up and listen and write the words down. Then you can have your opinions on the back end once you collect it. But the more you speak and the more you try to defend and the more you try to tell them this is why we do things, the more you're actually polluting the waters of the feedback. You're not actually getting the pure streaming thoughts out of their head. And they're also reading on you like, oh, every time I give you feedback, you kind of get defensive or you push back. Like, I'm actually going to stop now. I'm going to bite my tongue. I'm done, right? Like, do you have any more feedback? Nope. Real answer is they had 5 more things to say, but you shot yourself in the foot. So that's a big thing, is creating the right environment to create this pure feedback we're looking for. Now, what you want to do, obviously, at this point, as quickly as possible, is sit with your team, talk, create a clear plan. Don't rush, but let's try to get this thing done fast, because what this does is this sends signals to the clients that when you guys provide feedback, we actually act on it. So the next time we come around, please give it to us, because you guys see we do something with it. We don't sit on it. It doesn't get stuffed in a folder in our computers and forgotten about. We take action around here. We're action takers, right? You guys say you want something. If it makes sense for us and it makes sense for you, we take action on it, right? So I'll give you guys a clear example of this. I was in a mastermind and man, I was very happy with it and I got everything I needed out of it. So I left. But at the time that I was in it, one thing that was cool is they offered remote experience for their quarterly meetups or in person. You can do either one. And what I loved was if you chose remote for one of them, they sent you a care package in a cardboard box. And when you open it up, there was snacks. I mean, they gave you healthy snacks. They gave you little electrolyte powders you could put in your water. They wanted to keep your blood sugar up, right? They gave you a do not disturb sign because, this was for, marketing agency owners. So they knew you work from home. You probably have home office. They gave you a little door hanger that says, do not disturb. I'm currently in a mastermind meeting. Cool. Again, thinking through all the problems. They gave you a calendar invite so you don't miss it. They were live streaming on Zoom. And what I really loved was if you had questions, because you could kind of feel like I'm not there, they're not going to take me with the same type of seriousness as the in-person crew. But they didn't. They said, everyone on Zoom, please submit your questions for the panel, for the speakers, and we will alternate. We will ask a question person, here live, and then we'll go to one of the Zoom guests and we'll kind of alternate. So they really went above and beyond to make it feel like, wow, I'm as engaged and as an active participant via Zoom as I would be live. And that's because they asked a lot of feedback, like what would make your Zoom experience better? And then they acted on it. They did the same thing in person because I went in person and they said, hey, what's the feedback on the temperature? Was it too hot? Was it too cold? What about the food? Was this in line with your diet? Did we hit the mark on the food? What about the speaker lineup? Did you like the speakers? And they would literally say, rate each speaker individually. You could have attributed this to your coaches, right? Instead of saying, how are we doing as a team? Here's the 5 coaches, rank them from 1 to 10. How are they doing? And then they asked for venue feedback. Was it easy to park? Was your fly-in easy? And so what I loved was that, man, I don't normally fill these things out if I feel like the person's not going to take action. I was excited to fill theirs out because I was basically creating my experience by giving them that feedback. I knew they'd take action on it and my experience would get better, which would make me want to be more and more engaged and go deeper in the brand. So these are things to think about, guys. Again, I'm using it as an example. Those are things that you're going to see is people will get excited to give you feedback because they're basically custom building their gym for them and your experience will be more of a fit for them, which means longer client, retention and LTV, which means you're going to find more people like those people. Don't think this is just a simple question Q&A thing. There's way more action steps, but you got to be able to read between the lines because sometimes people will say something, but then they don't follow up with their behavior, right? And so I pay attention even more to their behavior. The words are the beginning. That's the surface. I'm collecting, and you're saying, if I build this, then you're going to do it. But then what happens if you build it and then no one buys it, right? I've been there. People have told me, if you had this, I would totally do it. The classic example I use for gyms is the noon session. Man, if you had noon, I'd be here. I'd rock it every day. Cool. We launched the noon session. One person shows up. All right. So it's wait a minute, you guys said if I built it, you'd come, but then they don't. That's why I'm a big fan of trial launch things or beta test and get a small group and go back and hit all those people that said they want it and said, okay, you want it? We're launching a small group of people. Now put your money where your mouth is, essentially. So this is something to pay attention to. It's going to start with words. Then you guys are going to go and take action. But for it to stay, there's got to be behavior. And there's a lot of layers behind that. We don't have time to hit it all on this podcast. Could be how you launched it and positioned it. It could be, did you take all the feedback or some of it? Was your team excited? Was it the time of the year? You're going to take something the clients give you feedback on and launch it Christmas week. Probably not going to go so hot. So there's a lot of details. And again, I'm not going to go into on this podcast. Hey guys, just taking a quick break to ask for one thing. If you can give us a 5-star review, it'd mean the world to me. It helps get me feedback on what you're enjoying about the show and how we're adding value to your business. And it helps us get the word out so we can turn the tide on this war against obesity. So give us a 5-star review and let's get back to the show. Look at the behavior, look at the patterns. Like, am I hearing this over and over and over again? And again, our team can blow things out of proportion. We can blow things out of proportion. They might use the word a lot. A lot of clients, all the clients are saying this. But when I actually started to force my team to make a list, we tend to find it that was 3 or 6 clients that are just very loud and vocal. And so it felt like a lot of people were saying it. Every session, someone's talking about it. But then we're like, okay, you run a 5-session block. You just had one loud person in each of those 5 sessions. No one else really brought it up. So what is the actual patterns across multiple, many, like I'm talking 10, 20 plus people saying they want something. Now I'm seeing a pattern, right? And then also just be on the lookout for politeness versus honesty. Some people will be polite. They'll say, no, you guys are good. Everything's all right. But at the same time, they're not progressing. At the same time, they're not spending more. At the same time, they're not referring. So you kind of feel like, I think if you're not being completely honest, how many clients I could tell you said we're moving and I was their friend on Facebook and then I never saw any U-Hauls on their feet. I never saw them actually move. It's like, so what happened there? Why were you not feeling like you could be honest? And again, never pointing the finger at them. I always pointed it back at me with that extreme ownership. Like, where did I not make them feel safe? Where did I not feel like they can give me honest feedback? And so, again, you got to learn to read between the lines. But things that I did launch from hearing the feedback that did go well, first off, adding small group. I started as a large group model, very hit focused, and I was losing clients pretty regularly to the reasoning of, I got to go get some more strength training. I lost the weight. I'm happy where I'm at, but to maintain it, I can't do this hit stuff forever. 3, 4, 5 days a week, I got to go get strength. So then we launched small group, listening to the customers. Huge amount of clients, almost 50% transitioned into that. They tripled their LTV and then they got what they wanted, right? So it's like listening to them. The next one was nutrition coaching. At first, I gave it to all my clients. But then I quickly learned I need to pay for this. This is a separate service. And then I did, and they were happy and they paid for it, which means they also paid attention. They took action on it. And so that was another successful, listening to feedback and launching a service, a solution. And then another one is session times. What we eventually got to was identifying what are the ideal times that people want during different seasons of the year. So we actually had like a spring/summer schedule when the days are longer and people want to train, a little bit later in the day, those late evenings. But then we started clipping them as we went to the winter because people didn't want to be out so late. Once it's dark by 5 p.m., do they really want to go to the gym at 7 p.m.? So we started adjusting our sessions based on the season, and we would launch at the beginning of the season and announce it's coming. And then we announce that we're, ending it and it's over at the end of the season. And that actually made the clients happier because we added sessions where they wanted them as the year pivoted. So these are just some examples of you reading between those lines. Now, what do we actually do? Let's talk practical application as we come to a close here, okay? Number one, you want to schedule regular customer interviews. It should be part of their journey, right? We're very good about in-body scans or just check-ins, but like where in their journey do they get like this customer interview? And it shouldn't just be when there's a problem and a cancellation, or a complaint. It should just be scheduled for everybody at specific intervals. To start, you might do it twice a year, right? Let's make it a very easy lift for you and your team. And that way we create systematic feedback loops that, every 6 months, we're going to get a pile of data and then we're going to learn and we're going to act on it, right? And then eventually maybe you can move to quarterly where 2 are in person and 2 are surveys on a form, right? But like then you can increase your feedback loops. But I'm trying to make this very actionable and easy for the average gym owner, all right? Train your team to listen for client feedback and insights during their interactions. Some people might not feel comfortable giving it directly to the owner, like they're going to offend you. So they'll tell your team, well, team, I need you to bring that to our team meetings. I want to hear about it jot it down and let's discuss it. We don't have to have only at planned feedback interactions. It could just be when, you're just running the sessions day to day, they're going to pop up. So let's talk about it in the moment, right? So that builds systems to capture and to act on feedback. So here are some fears that some people have when it comes to collecting feedback. They say, "Oh, our customers are too busy. They want to get in, they want to get out." Or if I do this, I'm just going to hear complaints. That's going to be energy draining mode. I don't want to do that. What if they give us feedback we can't act on, right? Like they want the space to be bigger, or they want us to put a cap on our sessions, which isn't realistic. Or I'm just fearful that someone's going to just bring a ton of negativity to the table and just make me feel like trash, right? So these are real concerns, but to me, it's the fire you got to walk through to build an excellent business. If you want to stay nice and insulated in your comfort zone, which we talk about, all the growth and all the things that you want in life, all the success is outside your comfort zone, but then we can stay in our comfort zone of business. Just keep doing what we're doing. Try not to get uncomfortable and don't have uncomfortable conversations. But those are the businesses that get stagnant or die off. You have to face it. If you don't, somebody's going to take your clients. I'm telling you that now. So a couple things that you want to do when you do this feedback, you want to segment your clients, right? So like what a new client experiences and has feedback on is going to be different than a client that's been with you 2 years, right? They might be more complaining about like lack of variety or needing to like get a little bit of a breakthrough on the results. Maybe they're stuck or in a plateau. That new client might be like, "Hey, the onboarding was a little overwhelming. It was too much information. No one stopped and showed me my first InBody scan." So you want to segment that and you want to like talk to some new clients just about their first month or 90 days. And your long-term clients, you want to talk about, "Hey, you've been here a while. What could we do better?" And you want to segment it. That will be very valuable. Another way you can segment it is your highest value clients to your lowest, average clients. And that's not to say that their feedback's not valuable, but if you want more of your clients that pay the premium rates and the highest amount, then their feedback is probably going to be the most valuable to you, right? To get more high value clients. And then another way to segment is clients who left and clients who are still with you, right? Like you have your clients that are active and you want to keep them, so you want to listen to their feedback. But sometimes someone doesn't feel comfortable giving feedback till they leave, right? And so it's like, "Hey, since you left, can you give us some feedback?" And you can always offer them value in exchange, right? It could be that you're going to get a gift card. It could be you're going to get store credit to come in and train with us. Something where, again, they win too for giving you this valuable feedback. So final thing I would just say is warning signs you're not listening. All right. These are the signs that you're not listening to your clients' feedback enough. Number one, you're going to make assumptions about what they want without talking to anybody. You're saying to yourself, "I know what my clients want. I'm going to go build this because I think that this will, do well." And you have zero customer data, just some anecdotal stuff. You're developing it in isolation. All right. That's really what it is. Number two, you often get surprised by clients complaining or canceling. You're like, "Whoa, that came out of nowhere. Why did this person cancel? Why did this person complain?" Like, if that is happening regularly, then that's a sign that you're not listening enough to your clients. All right. Number three, you're getting bad quality leads. Your marketing is not resonating with your ideal type of client. That's a sign you're not using the words that they're saying in your messaging to get more ideal clients. You might be using just really generic marketing, or you might be just using marketing that's just like not really speaking to your ideal type of client, right? Like you want that very, very dialed in, that marketing message. And then the final one is you find yourself competing on price and clients leaving over price. And so if your service or your product had all their problems solved, there's not going to be a price fight. I can tell you right now. The reason price comes up is that you have a very comparable service being delivered by a competitor and they can go get it for less. So you can't blame them. You got to have a unique selling proposition, something that makes you stand out from everyone else. And that way, price is just irrelevant. People will drive by gyms. I had one client say, "I drive by 5 gyms and many of them are cheaper than yours, but I come here because of what, I get." And they gave me, some gold. They're like, this, and that. And I was just like, "Thank you. I'm going to go put that on my ads." So here's some action steps as we wrap up. Guys, go have 3 customer conversations this week that is using those 3 questions I mentioned earlier. and start to gather this stuff. Have a running document. Don't say thank you. It was just verbal and you never write it down. That is foolish, okay? You should have years and years of data stored up. So make one master doc that you're just going to keep adding stuff on. So you'd write the date and you'd write the person's name and all the feedback. And that way you can just keep adding to this document over time. You can even probably train GPT on it, but like it needs data. And so you got to start capturing data. So don't just do this haphazardly. So that's like fast action step. Next action step is build your feedback system. How will you collect it? When will you collect it? At what cadence? And who's involved, right? Like really build the system out. This is just as important as your client acquisition system, as your conversion system, as your retention system, is you need a feedback system, all right? So guys, that's all I got for you for this week. If you guys have any questions about feedback and systems around it, send me a DM. And I will see you guys next week. Later. Hey, gym owners, let's face it. You probably don't love digital marketing. You probably don't want to go into Facebook and load the ad up and think of ad copy and creatives and optimize it daily. Well, hand that over to me and my team because we're geeks about marketing and we want to flood your gym with new members so you can change their life. Let us do what we do best. All right, go to gymreinforcements.com, book a call. Don't bring the credit card. It's not a hard pitch. It's just a conversation to see if we're a good fit. Talk soon.